Hello, and welcome to the Mind Body Dictionary. Let's go ahead and search a condition today. How about shoulders? Shoulder pain or tension or neck problems? Let's shoot with shoulder pain and tension. I'm experiencing a bit of that today for sure. Let's see what's going on. So we're going to start up here where the red is coming out of that dude's shoulders. We're going to call him Shorty. Shorty's shoulders. All right, so it says burden. How do you relate to the responsibilities in life? Do you go about them joyfully? Or do you feel resentments, discouragements, fears, guilt, or exhaustion from your excess responsibility? Well, I was definitely feeling exhaustion yesterday, even with just thinking about doing the dishes or making dinner, things like that. So, let's see. Resentments, discouragements, fears, guilt, fears. Yeah, no, I had some fears too with, we're in the process of purchasing a house, which is yay, exciting for us. However, it means a mortgage, and I'm not a super big fan of mortgages. We've been fine. We've had a mortgage in the past and it was fine. It's just a big heavy burden. It's just a nice heavy load to place on your shoulders. So, I've been processing and working through some fears about that. So that makes sense. It's an it's an attitude that life is weighing down on my shoulders or life feels so heavy. You may believe that what you do should not be your responsibility. You carry a conflict about success and what it means to be successful in life or with intimate relationships. You have ambivalence about how to express your needs. Though you want to feel support, you resist it, believing I won't get what I want anyway. Instead of making life fun, you support your burden and you support your burden and of those around you. So yeah, I totally feel guilt now that I think about the guilt when I ask for, like, hey, help me with the dishes. When my husband's home and the dishes need to be done, he doesn't have a problem asking the kids, to help, and they do, and it's good. Um, I think it's very healthy for them. For me, I don't know. I guess I'm like, well, I'm the mom, and I do them plenty, so I should share the load. But I feel guilt there, so I probably need to balance that out some. My daughter did the dishes yesterday as well, and I felt guilt about that. And it's funny because I didn't ask her to, she just did it, and probably because she saw I was exhausted. So there's probably a story there that I need to process and work through. Let's see. There you go, conflict about success and what it means to be successful. I could see that. I'm going to think about that and process that. How does that apply to you? Would you feel any of this? Does life feel heavy? Do you feel like life is weighing down on your shoulders? Do you believe that things shouldn't be your responsibility? Which is a funny conflict to have. Like, it shouldn't be my responsibility to do dishes, but yeah, I feel guilty for asking the kids. That's pretty paradoxical. So, and it's conflict. It doesn't fit together. So I definitely need to get some clarity there so that I can get the tension out of my head and heart about that. Dishes is one example. There's other burdens in my life, but that's just the most recent and obvious one to me. You have ambivalence about how to express your needs, though you want to feel support. You resist it, believing you won't get what you want anyway. Do you feel that? Do you want to feel support, but you actually also resist it, thinking, well, they'll just say no, or it's going to be a big fight, or, that kind of thing? That's easy to imagine. Instead of making it fun, you support your burden and of those around you. I don't know that how many people I've heard say things like, try to carry their burden or this kind of thing, and or people who are so concerned about someone else that they like worry themselves sick, kind of thing. But they don't make anything better with that concern or that worry or trying to carry that burden. Now, it's one thing if you serve, and that it's a joy to you, but it's another thing if you serve because you're afraid for them or something. You may feel stuck between doing all that is needed to take care of your wants and still attend to others. There are excess physical and emotional toxins. Whew, time to detox. Physical and emotional. I definitely would say the guilt and all that. What else is on there? It was, let me find it here. fears. That's going to be, unpleasant, toxic. Guilt, exhaustion, or discouragements, or resentments. Resentments. I have felt, there's no question, I've felt resentment in my life in plenty of areas. This particular one is not jumping out to me. But you might have resentment somewhere in your life right now that is building up toxins, emotional toxins in your system, along with that fear or guilt or exhaustion or discouragement. There are excess physical emotional toxins. The left shoulder is more about spiritual emotional burden, insecurity with your emotional mental capacity, or struggling to be yourself, and the right shoulder has to do with physical stress. You're not enjoying or rejoicing in your progress. I'd say they're pretty equal for me right now. It's just a general tension that I'm experiencing. Yeah, and when I rub them, it feels pretty, I don't feel drawn to one or the other. But if you feel drawn to more like you're having left shoulder pain or right shoulder pain, you might be like, oh, okay, I need to deal with these emotions, or okay, I need to deal with, physically taking care of myself and breathing and stretching and all that, which is good for the emotions too. So it's good to pay attention to both. So, okay, let's check. That's the shadow right there that we just read. Let's go down to this blue shorty guy on the bottom. It says, be honest with yourself. What part of your load is worth keeping? Well, I do need to eat, so I have to do dishes, and I do want the house, so I accept that right now that means a mortgage. So how about you? What part of your load is worth keeping? There are times when it feels too heavy and we do paper. Just our life circumstances right now. Sometimes that happens. There's been times in the past where we never did paper, ever. But just because of our circumstances, on occasion we'll do that. And that, I think, as far as what is it worth keeping, I love trees. I also love to be alive and be healthy. So I have to balance it right now, and I embrace that, and I'm not going to judge myself for that right now. You might judge me for that. That's okay. So, but what about you? What part of your load is worth keeping? What part is it? Is it better to let it go? Pay attention to the emotional burden that you carry. I think the guilt is not worth me keeping. I really don't think I need that. I think I can accept. That's my reminder telling me to take a deep breath. So I will. Good time anyway. I'm thinking about guilt and stuff. Let that go. Is it better to let go? Pay attention to the emotional burden that you carry. I really think that one's, it's worth letting go. I think the fear is too. I need to replace that with trust. And I do. There's lots of reason for me to trust that things are going to work out when it comes to the house and the mortgage and all that stuff. Which is why we're continuing forward, despite the unpleasantry of thinking about something like that. But no, I feel good about it, and it's worth letting go of the fear. So how about you? What part of the emotional burden is it better to let go of for you? Take a step back, assess what is important and what is not. Behind your need for a burden is a worry or a fear that if you don't over-concern yourself, that something harmful might happen. Oh my goodness, that is so true. It's like, no, I need to worry about this or I'm going to forget, and then I'll relax and then something bad will happen. It's so true. And I don't want to play that game anymore. That's not cool. I'm not interested in that game. Are you interested in that game? Hopefully not. Let's do something different, both of us, right now. Let's do it different. We don't need to over-concern ourselves. Oh my goodness, it feels good just to say that. And the truth is, I believe in that. I believe in that principle. What am I doing by worrying about it? I think that I'm like reminding myself of the problem so that I don't forget it, so that I make sure to do something about it. But in reality, I'm just burdening myself, tightening my shoulders, and getting exhausted. So I don't need to do that. I can let it go and release it and move on. And you know what? I can trust that it will work out. In fact, before I pulled this up, I was like, I'm going to start doing a visualization where there's the like dark dollars of the mortgage with some light dollars of income. And I'm going to imagine the income is just coming and like each dollar matches up with a dark dollar, like the light dollar matches up with the dark dollar, and they negate each other. And that there's so much influx of the light dollars that the dark dollars disappear very quickly. That's what I'm going to imagine. And I think I'll just do that meditation several times a day. And I'm not going to worry about the details. I'm going to let the inspiration come and trust that it will. And then if I find myself fearing, that's the meditation I'm going to do. So what are you going to do? Maybe even pause this and think, okay, here's my burden, here's my concern, here's how I over concern myself with something that something harmful might happen. What can I do to imagine something working out with this burden where I don't over concern, where I don't worry, where I don't have to carry my fear, but I trust? Negative emotionally based beliefs about the future become a problem instead of the real problem. Isn't that funny? It's so true. Your body is carrying all the negative possibilities. It is time to focus on what you can think, what you feel, and beneficially do. Absolutely. Maybe you, like for me, I'm in a state where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to trust that a quality true answer will come. Because I come up with ideas, oh, I could do this side business or this side thing, and in reality, they may or may not work. It may or may not be a thing. But I can just follow with any divine guidance that I have and go with the flow and trust. And I have time, and if I use it wisely, something will come beneficial, and it will come so much more readily if I'm balanced, if I'm in tune, if I'm trusting, than the shadow emotions, emerging from shadow emotions and creating shadow energy kind of stuff. That makes perfect sense to me anyway. So how about you? What do you think? Focus on what you can think and what you can feel and what you can beneficially do. So if you're sitting in a rocking chair worrying and just rocking back and forth, you're not changing anything. So maybe start with the thinking. If you're in the rocking chair, think something, like cycle in that thinking with a positive thinking, positive feeling. And then when you're ready to get up out of that rocking chair of past worry and no longer worry, and do something, then it can be beneficial. What is that for you? Seek to do your responsibilities with joy. I do like to find something enjoyable to listen to or watch or learn while I'm doing dishes. And that does help me every time I do that. Let go of any belief, attitude, or emotion that limits your happiness. And I bet if I focused on that first, like, oh, I really want to listen to the thing. Oh, I'll do that while I do dishes or something that would help. Let's see. Let go of any belief, attitude, emotion that limits your happiness. Well, yeah, the fear, belief. What's the belief? I think I feel trapped with mortgages. So I probably I'll work on that belief. Does anything come to mind right away? Well, yeah, that visualization actually helps me to not feel trapped. It helps me to feel hope and like a progressive possibility. And that changes the attitude, that changes the emotion. And you know what? I'm definitely not going to let it get in the way of my happiness. I like happiness too much. I enjoy seeing the dark things of the world, sure, but really enjoying and embracing the beauties of the simple things. I enjoy that way too much. Balance what you choose to take on and practice sharing the load. Yeah. Okay. Express your need and desire. Be aware of how you respond. Dance and enjoy the journey. I don't mind a good quality dance. Yeah, expressing my needs and desire and being aware of how I respond. Because honestly, until I read this just now, I wasn't very attuned to the guilt that I feel. Yes, it was there. There's no question. If someone asked me, I would have said yes, but I wasn't really thinking about it. So now that I see that, I'm going to find like, okay, either A, just let it go, release the guilt. I don't need it. Or see if I'm placing it there for some reason. And I think it's because there's like that balance between being there for my kids, being the mom, and raising them and helping them have responsibilities. And we've had really quality routines in the past, and right now we're actually been traveling in an RV, so our routines are kind of unique and different. And so sometimes I have a hard time getting meals on time and stuff like that. And I bet that my guilt rises from that, which then passes over to like if we have a late dinner, then like, okay, I'm gonna keep them on late doing dishes or something, and I feel guilty for that. So I think either A, I'm gonna step it up on the dinner, or ask them to help me step it up get help with them in the dinner. Like, here, you two kids are helping me with dinner, you two kids are helping with dishes, ready, set, go. I think I'm gonna make some conscious decisions there. And I can already feel my guilt relaxing as I do that. All right. Now for the real stuff. Here we go. Well, that's pretty real. All right, but this is the transformational stuff. I enjoy the journey of life with all its adventures. How do you feel about that? Think about that. I enjoy the journey of life with all its adventures. Breathe into it. Maybe you've experienced fear with, oh my goodness, life isn't an adventure. It's frightening, If that's how you feel, I would suggest, paying attention to that, working through that, and getting real with that. Maybe making some changes so that you can see the adventure in life. When I read this one, I resonate with it very well. I've done this work for a long time, and yes, there's some adventures that I think, oh dear, this is hard. This is really, 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 really hard. And it feels less adventurous. But I've kept in mind that that's the direction I'm heading. I'm heading back to the enjoyment of life and its adventures. Maybe you're in one of those hard times right now. And if that's the case, trust that the sun rises again and there is a worthwhile adventure to still have. As things transform. And I wish that for you. I love my family and friends. They are so interesting and amazing. Maybe one of the burdens in your life is a family or a friend that is just, what do I do with this person? And you might practice breathing through your frustration and allowing some intrigue, some curiosity, some just change in perspective, like, oh, this is interesting, and trying to relate to it differently so that your relationship then with them can become adventurous, interesting, and amazing. And I know that can be hard. There we go. So I'm thinking of one of my kids that's been extra, what's the word? Hyper? Go to sleep, stop fighting. So I'm going to insert that mindset of interesting, amazing, intriguing. I can feel even as I do this, I've been doing it in small amounts, but it needs to be expanded for me and my shoulders. All right, so what is that for you? I encourage others to learn from their life experiences. And that's interesting that I encourage that. Like, this isn't so much me learning from my life experience, but encouraging that to others from their life experiences. Child of mine, you can learn from doing the dishes. This is a great experience for you. Oh, yeah. All right, yeah. You know what? Okay, I see what that is. It's so that I don't over-concern myself about me potentially sharing the burden with them, and me potentially burdening them and therefore making it hard on them. This is to encourage, hey, you know what? You can learn from your life experiences, and I'm going to learn from mine. And one of the things I'm going to learn is that I can share the burden, and I'm going to let you experience burden, and that you can actually carry some. Because it's not like I ate off every dish, and they're capable. So I responsibly share only what I can do and let the rest be theirs to learn from. I responsibly share only what I can do and let the rest be theirs to learn from. Ooh, I'm liking this. This is going to be okay. I trust that God and angels are deeply supporting those around me. That one almost feels like it's not related to the dishes or the mortgage as much for my own burden that I feel, but the burden that I feel like just this world is carrying right now. And it's like, I think we all feel that to some degree or another. We all feel, oh my goodness, there are so many burdens and they're so heavy for so many people. And I can't carry that. Like, I can only, like, I'm struggling to get the dishes done. At least yesterday and today. I can't carry the world's burdens. I can do it perhaps maybe by doing something like this, creating a video that perhaps could help someone somewhere. But in reality, I need to trust that God and the angels are deeply supporting those around me. And that actually does lift my burden. And then if God or angels need me to use my hands to help lift someone's burden, I'm free to do so because my burden feels lighter to, I don't feel so heavy. So I don't need to carry it generally. I can trust generally. Oh my goodness, I was carrying way more of that than I realized. That's like feels way bigger than either one of the other burdens that I've been carrying. I can just feel that. I hope that you're experiencing some of that. How cool that is to release. If you haven't, just do it with me. Just imagine the burdens of the world and you're letting God and angels deeply support this world and all the many needs. And then whatever your burden is to bear, you'll be able to do it because it's yours and you're not carrying everybody's everywhere, kind of thing. As I awake today, I prepare to be relaxed, share to be fulfilled, and surrender to be uplifted. I feel like that's what we were just doing. I feel like I was awakening to all these things. I'm preparing to be relaxed, which is a good way to start this day. It's good. I'm right in the morning here. Share to be fulfilled and surrender to be uplifted. I am on track to being completely relaxed on my focus of this day. I am on track to be completely relaxed on my focus of this day. That feels tricky, but that feels doable. Because I was already piling up in my head, like, okay, I got to do this. But I can do that in a relaxed state. Shoot, why not? Life is smooth sailing on any rough or calm sea. That reminds me of riding in a roller coaster where it's like you did this on purpose. You got on the roller coaster on purpose, and here you go up and down and around, and you're going to enjoy the whole thing. That's what that reminds me of. Life is smooth sailing on any rough or calm sea. I do have to up my trust when I think about it being on the sea, because roller coasters, like, man-made, someone somewhere you assume tested it, making sure it was safe, and I use that assumption as a safety net because it totally is an assumption. There's some roller coaster I've been on, like, did they seriously test this? The thing is nuts. But on the sea, it's actually, you have to be dependent on God, on something higher, because the sea is more unpredictable, and that's water. Water is like the emotion. It's unpredictable. The emotions that are going to come in a day, you just don't know. So, that opens room and space for me to trust a lot more right now. How about you? Do you feel like you can trust to the level that life can be smooth sailing on any rough or calm sea? If not in this moment, release the feeling, release the burden, cry it out, scream it out. Find a place in a room, in a space where you can do that. Get in the car, go on a walk, go in the basement, attic, whatever. In your bedroom, on a pillow. Let it go, and then allow room and space, and even intend that this release will allow room and space for trust to reemerge. All right, this last one's on the star on the right-hand side on the bottom, and here's some foods. Ooh, I'm definitely having apples and bananas, and I've got asparagus in the fridge. We'll make that part of the meal today for them shoulders. Ooh, I have celery, and in fact, I have a chicken soup that that has celery in it that I'll probably eat today. There's meats, millet, okra, rice, romaine lettuce, watermelon. We don't have any watermelon. I love watermelon. Barley, beans, beets. Yeah, so check out that list. There are no corresponding products for this right now, but we could probably put some like BioFreeze here. I can get on there. Acupuncturist could be really good for helping with shoulders. Chiropractor could be good. Counselor, because all of the mental stress, Craniosacral practitioner could be really helpful if you've got tight shoulders. Homeopathic practitioner for sure, A life coach, that would be along the lines of this counselor. Like, maybe you need someone to, like, help you work through just burden, like, "Hey, let's get our mind in gear." A massage therapist, of course. An energy practitioner. I don't know if you're familiar with that. That's what I do for a profession. And a lot of people have reported that they feel so much more relaxed. Herbalists would be a great idea, especially if your tight shoulders are gut related, which probably it is. Nutrition is same thing. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for doing that with me. And I look forward to chatting with you again on another mind body dictionary condition.